A lot of companies today are looking at ways in which they can digitize their information and implement emerging technologies or technologies that already exist, such as robotics process automation and advanced analytics. In the last year alone, we've seen a significant uptake in interest and intensifying interest in implementing those types of technologies to automate processes that previously weren't capable of being automated. And so shifting their focus on the manual preparation of data and really allowing them to focus on the analysis of the information versus the preparation of it. And so a significant amount of investment that's gone into those technologies and evaluating different areas within the reporting process for implementation. So one of the areas that we see a lot of companies looking at is their financial close process. Relatively time-consuming in nature, requires a lot of manual effort, so they're looking at ways in which they can use technologies such as robotics process automation to automate journal entries, automate the monthly accrual processes, using that technology to trigger activities in the close process and the tasks in and of themselves to shorten that time frame. And to alleviate the amount of manual intervention that's needed in some of the journal entries that they record or the reports that they run, and allowing them to focus their time more on the analysis than the actual preparation. So data is always a challenge. Setting up data governance and data structure and how you gather that information. Digitizing data in and of itself is sometimes a common misnomer. Having a PDF, yeah, it's a digital document, but that's not digital data. You need the source of information that relies or sits within that in that document to be able to be used and manipulated across systems and be analyzed. And so, a lot of the challenges revolve around how do you set up data governance? How do you set up your data structure? What does that look like? Is that structured or is that unstructured? How do you move data to and from systems, and how is that analyzed, and what's your data repository? So the things that are being implemented right now, we talked about, are robotics process automation and advanced analytics. We'll see more widespread adoption of that as we move forward. But those will set the stage for emerging technologies that are out there, such as cognitive and artificial intelligence and blockchain. Those in and of themselves, the technologies such as robotics process automation allow and set the foundation for the implementation of cognitive. When you pair those technologies together, allowing robotics process automation to do and cognitive to think and analyze, those will change the way in which we think about how financial reporting and the process in which preparing information comes together. Different composition of people that are comfortable with the technology. So there's a bit of a gap, right, in terms of comfort with technology in and of itself between maybe at the board level or at the governance level and those that are, in day-to-day management of it and how they interact. There's a generation of some financial executives that are comfortable with, technology and working in a digital environment and working with change and the pace of change at which technology is occurring, and continues to ever increase. But that being said, these structures of how you set up a model of talent, what you automate, who does it, right, and what does that look like, and what does the talent model look like? Is it open? Is it the traditional model that we see? And then really thinking about the where. A lot of companies have historically looked at service center models or potentially offshoring. From a cost perspective, with the automation of some of these processes and routine tasks, maybe that model doesn't continue to hold true. And so companies are rethinking that and rethinking how that works. And so when they're going through the implementation and looking at the return on investment, those are some of the critical questions that a lot of companies are evaluating. If you have a low-cost country doing the process, and the ROI is not going to be as high. And so, all those variables go into play. But the question still remains: is who, where, and what are we going to do? And those are the challenges that a lot of companies are facing right now.